And the next thing is reports. We have reports from the fire department. Nice picture of the future fire truck.
Yeah, thank you.
Right, yeah, real exciting. Report from the recreation department for December, showing the activities that are being planned. And we had a report from our town administrators, but I'll turn it over to you, Charlie. You want to make any additional comments?
The Pond Road sinkhole, that project has come to a halt a little bit. When they initially started to clean the debris and work on the project, it affected their equipment. They had to call in another company with bigger equipment, and that started to affect their equipment, and finally they pulled in the heavy duty equipment, if you will, and that started to create sinkholes with the project, so they stopped. They talked to me and gave me an option of running 600 feet of pipe, or we can try another option, which would be on the other side of the two, the manhole. Either way, it's going to have to be engineered because it's so close to the dam. Estimated new cost is anywhere from $110,000 to $140,000. I asked MES, Mechanical Epoxy, to write us a little bit of a summary, except I haven't got it yet. I'll send it to the board immediately. But we're going to have to think about going into next year's budget where those increased costs are going to come from to get that project done. The 2025 property tax rate was set by the board, of course. The overall increase was 24 cents from the prior year. Tax bills have gone out. I know we've gotten some calls already. I wanted to let the board know that I'm going to, well, I was encouraged, that I was recommended by colleagues and encouraged to put my name on the ICMA Executive Board nomination to be the Regional Vice President. I've been in this long enough that I qualify, if you will. My managers association supported me in writing a letter of recommendation to support my nomination. It is actually an elected position. It's not something that you can just do. So going forward with that, I submit in January. I don't expect it to affect my job duties or anything. Really what it is a position that supports ICMA, which is, so that everyone knows, ICMA is my professional managers association. It really supports them. It helps govern the organization, but it's more of a national area. But my duties would be the Northeast, if I'm elected.
Anything else?
We've got a couple things under here, just reminders that we actually put on the agenda about town meeting, a vote on town meeting, in the town report, and our meeting schedule for next year. But we actually put those on the agenda as reminders.
Can you tell us what the status is of the switch over on solar? Have they come to switch us over?
It's done, but Eversource hasn't visited yet.
They haven't come in.
Yeah. But I have a contact with Eversource, and why don't I make a note and follow up with the person that's I don't know her name, I don't remember her name, but she visited, we might have been here when she dropped off the plans to do the distribution line. So
Yeah.
why don't I do that? I'll
Yeah,
contact
can
them.
give them a follow-up. It'd be nice to get that switched over by the first of the year.
We will get some agrees with Eversource, unfortunately. They are horrible.
Well, I did reach out to them also today, actually, and ask her about helping us with putting in street lights. I know they won't pay for us because I hadn't heard back from that company. Yeah.
Because they were supposed to give us a proposal as well.
we haven't bought one, so I thought I'd also ask Eversource if there's a way that they can help, maybe with the installation, something, because I haven't heard back from FFB.
Any other
I mean,
questions?
do you want me to?
I could reach back out to Affinity if you want.
Yeah, to Kelly, she was the, one who we were dealing with.
Any other questions for TA?
No, that was-
Okay. Board topics and committee updates, you want?
we haven't met, and so, because of the weather last week, we were supposed to meet because we got the snow on Wednesday. So at this point, Charlie and I talked about it, where we have new person coming on, that we would just, push that back, and we'll meet with the new person, you know, the first week of, January. So that will be our next meeting.
Okay, thanks.
Climate committee met, Charlie joined us, and got an opportunity to get a little history and background about what's been going on, and also, Rita and Bill, presented him with some of moving forward activities, and, so that is going well. Planning board, nothing major is coming forward, other than, Bearbrand has been helping to update the language of the ordinances going into, town meeting.
So we're gonna have some changes on the ballot?
It's probably those, but they're minor language changes, just to simplify, just to make things consistent throughout the document. Then first of the year, I would hope that things would begin to move forward with the council relative to the master plan.
Why are you leaving?
CIP doesn't need a building.
You got a little time off.
Yeah.
And I don't have any committee things, but I would like to go on record that we have hired Bruce Rogers as our highway department manager, and his first day is December 22nd. So, with that, we'll move on to consent agenda. We have minutes for the public, non-public, November 24th, regular public, December 1st, and non-public, December 1st. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second,
Any changes? Any revisions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
So Dan, we're up to you. The EMS billing and battery rescue.
So, I sent a little bit of information ahead of time about the, there's a new, Senate bill that just passed in New Hampshire. It's gonna take effect on the first of the year. And it relates to ambulance billing, and if you're familiar with how that all works, what they call surprise billing. Really isn't a surprise. What the surprise is a lot of people just don't know how their insurance works. So when we do a transport, basically we bill the run out if they have insurance. There's co-pays, deductibles, all those types of things that dictate how much they're going to pay. And then there's a balance at the end. That balance is what surprises people, if you will. A lot of people don't realize first off that they're going to get a bill. It's a pretty common misconception that EMS is free, and there's only maybe one department in the entire state that doesn't bill. So they, long story short, they passed this bill. We have to make a decision on whether we wanna opt in or opt out. I don't have a ton of information on it. It's been changed a few times, as most everything. I think there was like 3 different competing bills that it started as. This particular one, ended up, that they would do, 325% of the Medicare rate. So, for example, a BLS call, you know, you stub your toe, you don't really need any major interventions, you know, something fairly minor, we're not really doing a whole lot other than checking vitals, things of that nature. We would bill that call out at $1,200, and then it would be, our mileage is 30 per mile, per loaded mile, so from wherever we pick you up to the hospital. Medicare only would pay us about $480 for that same call. Under the new, Senate bill, if I do the math right, it comes out to be about $1,500 what the insurance company would be paying. One of the issues we have is they like to decide what they're going to pay. You know, if you walk into a coffee shop or anywhere to buy, you know, an auto part or something, you know, if it says it's $50, that's what you pay. Insurance companies, whether you're an ambulance service or the guy fixing cars or, you know, fixing a broken roof or whatever it might be from damage, they can dictate what they're going to give you, and then they basically force you to go after the person to get the remainder. So on a BLS run, they may only pay us $600 or $700 depending on the company. Then they do other things. Anthem is notorious for sending people to check directly. From what I understand, like 98% of ambulance services in New Hampshire are what would be considered out of network because we don't have contracts with these companies. You know, if you go in network with them, they like to severely reduce what they're gonna pay. You're kind of at their whim. So most places just kind of play the odds and see what you get is what you get. So for us, an average year, I looked in our records, I went to 2023, it was the most current that I had figured all the numbers out, so 24 was, I didn't have all the numbers together, so I just went with 23 is what I had. So for all the transports we did, it equated to about $623,000 if we billed everything at 100%. Then the next level down is what's called your contractual allowances. So basically that's what insurance companies or Medicare, Medicaid, people like that are gonna pay, equated down to about $307,000. So we're already at like less than 50% of what we would bill out. And then what we actually collected out of that was around $211,000 for that year. So out of what we billed was only a 34% collection rate. Out of what we're allowed was 68%. And most places are in that 60 to 70 range, so we're actually on the higher end. As much as it sounds like we're losing a lot of money. A lot of those are, you know, people without insurance. You know, that's gonna show up as a full $2,000 loss or whatever it might be. So I kind of ran some rough numbers from what we bill and what we would under the Senate bill. A couple of the levels that we do would be a little higher, a couple of them might be a little lower than what we normally would bill. I think it's a 2-year trial, I should add. It goes into effect January 1st and it ends the end of 2026. So it's for 27. So it's 26 and 27. At the end of that, we would be obligated to provide some information. We would basically go in network with all of the major insurance companies, which would be a big change for us. And then we would not be balance billing for anything beyond what they pay. But according to the way the law is written, they would be told that you're paying these numbers. So I think it would be more beneficial to us to do it and see kind of what happens. I don't think we're gonna lose any money in the deal. I think we might actually gain a little bit, and I think, you know, it would be nice for our residents not to get a bill in the mail, hopefully, you know, for this, and I think that's gonna be the biggest bonus to it. Traditionally, we're not very aggressive with collections. We're not, you know, cleaning houses. We're not sending people to collections. We're not reporting on their, you know, their finance reports and stuff like that. But I just have to ask what your wish is, if you want me to opt in or out.
Well, I know, you know, usually if you're in a network thing, you're stuck. And it hasn't always been a the way you explain it is that there is benefit. In this case, being in it is not really being stuck without options, right?
Yeah, and I believe it's modeled after, I think Maine did it a few years ago. There was some other states that done this, and it seems like it's helped.
So does this mean that, just to clarify, because as a finance guy, I make a great electrician. So no longer would so like when I got hurt last year and my insurance company sent me money and then we sent the town of Bolton the payment that we were due to them. That would no longer happen under this, is that?
The way that I understand it, conveniently, there's a little online conference in like a couple of days where I'll probably get a little bit more information, but the way that I'm understanding is, that because we would be a network, they would directly pay us, they wouldn't play a lot of those same games, and we do run into issues where sometimes, you know, people will get the money and then not pay us, and those are the times that we have, on a few occasions, actually, you know, sent them to collections and stuff, but that's pretty much as far as we've ever ventured with it. As for like, your deductibles and all that, I'm not exactly sure how that all works, but I would imagine that might still come into play. So I would kind of back a little bit up and say it's not like 100% guaranteed that we're gonna get a ton more, but I don't think we're gonna see a significant loss.
So when this all was being discussed, there was a meeting in Campton.
Yes.
In chatting with your other fire chiefs, what ended up being the compromise bill, is everybody okay with that?
It all depends.
In terms of the rate of reimbursement?
Some of these guys are like, oh, it should be like, you know, we should be making millions of dollars, and you know, EMS billing is one of the few things that you pay for, or you know what I mean, on the back end. You know, if I go to your house and we're there for 2 days fighting a fire, you don't get a bill for that. You know, or if we cut you out of your car, like we don't bill you for that, but we do bill you for the transport. You know, granted, we do use a fair amount of supplies and things. I guess it all depends if we ask. It seems like most people are okay with it and seem like they're gonna be opting in. I haven't heard of too many people that aren't. I think most people are just gonna be giving it a try. And I just found out like a week ago that we had to opt into it. I was like, well, that's cool. Nobody told me that.
That's why I got the email.
Having opted in, if you're unhappy, are you given the potential to opt out?
I believe you can at the end of that 2-year review.
There, it's okay.
Yeah, and I mean,
So
in
it's
reality.
essentially, it's a 2-year trial.
Yeah, and then, they're gonna take the data they get from that first 2 year to start the 3rd year, I guess, is the plan. And I think that would really be the time where we would say yay or nay on whether we wanna do it. I mean, it sounds great.
I know.
I'm really hoping that it is as good as it sounds for both sides, for us and the patient.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like to me that, I was to trust your opinions and your thoughts on it, that if we opt in on it, that, it doesn't sound like we're taking a large risk.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't seem that way.
So, if it can be more benefit, I would be open to
You say, it doesn't sound like we lose anything. Is there another benefit that makes you swing that way? To opting in?
To opt in? I would say really the biggest thing is if it really does take off that back end billing, that's one of the biggest things we get. People that, you know, they don't understand why they're getting a bill, and, you know, they hear, oh, well, we were never told, and.
So you save some costs on that end, having to deal with that?
As far as not having to chase it down.
I'll bill it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, we get, so, the way it works is, Comstar, the company that we've been with since we started back in '07 with the ambulance, they bill, they get a percentage of what's actually collected. So a lot of times those small, like, $50, $100 things, a lot of people don't pay those, and we're supposed to be writing them off, but now that I have a town administrator that understands the ambulance thing, he might be a little more inclined to work on that. The last couple have been a little nervous about that whole idea. So we're actually backlogged a few years on that. So there is a chunk of money that's just sitting there that's uncollected, but, so, yeah, I would say, it would cut down on that back end, all that extra little paperwork stuff that has to be done.
Hearing all that, I can't see what would be any risk in doing.
I think there's more risk by not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it'll certainly make our collection rates a lot better.
A lot of this comes directly to you.
It will,
So
yeah.
hopefully,
Yeah.
So do I have a motion to authorize the chief to opt into the ambulance provider standard contract for the next 2 years?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Alright.
Okay, next item.
As you recall, we were awarded that AFG grant, for the time event, the vehicle exhaust removal system. So that is in, we received our final reimbursement for that. And if you, saw in the document that I sent, basically, we have, about $11,000 left over. Part of that is actually our match for that grant. So 8,500 of that roughly is federal funds. When you come in under budget like we did, they do allow you to petition them to go towards another high priority item. When I looked at the high priority list, battery powered jaws of life, as you will, or hydraulic rescue tools was actually in the list of items. We actually had applied previously and were denied for a grant for a set a couple of years ago. So we were able to get a few prices on them. Really, it's between Amicus and Hamatro. We actually did a demonstration of them, it was like a year and a half ago. And our staff, although we run Amicus products now, they actually felt that the Hamatro was a little bit lighter, a little more maneuverable, and had a few other things that were a little bit better. So I was looking to see if I could get permission to basically petition the AFG folks to let us use the funds towards that tool, which would be placed on the new engine that's coming in August. And the reason for that is, if you're out at the fire alarm and a car crash comes in, you could just go directly, somebody from the call department or an off-duty person would come drive the rescue in the ambulance, and they could at least, get started before the truck shows up. Without it, like right now with the little engine, they actually have to come back and get the rescue. So, if you're driving by, sucks to be you, we'll be back in a few minutes, but at least with this, it would give you the ability to at least do something. And just one additional tidbit, so the Firemen's Association is having a meeting this evening. They are going to discuss and most likely pass to cover the additional about $5,000 or $6,000 for the tool. So basically, it would only cost us around $3,000 on the budget.
Any questions?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do I have a motion to give the chief permission to petition AFG to use funds for high priority item, jaws of life combat tool?
So move?
Okay.
Second, any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is
All
that
right.
right?
I appreciate it. And then I
Okay.
just have a couple more things I want to talk to you about real quick.
Okay,
Coming into the end of the year, I was looking to see if you would give me permission to do a couple of kind of last minute purchases. One of them would be for a rapid sequence intubation, protocol that we're allowed to do, so we can actually intubate people in the truck. We're supposed to have one. We have one that was donated by Stewart's Ambulance a few years ago. It's an older version, older brand, but it still works. We gotta, refurbish or whatever they have to do to make it legal. So one truck has one, the second truck does not. So I would like to purchase a Zoll Z-Vent, as it's called, and it's $13,348. And we priced around a couple of different options. That's what most departments are running. And it does a bunch of different things, so it can do CPAP, BiPAP, a bunch of different airway types of things. But most importantly, when you intubated somebody, you don't have to squeeze the bag valve mask every 6 seconds, because it's a long ride to Concord when you do that. So, and also you run the risk of barotrauma. Anybody that's a diver has probably heard of that. We actually can overinflate the lungs. So this actually gets set based on their height and weight and stuff on what they're, and it's all adjustable. It gives you a bunch of feedback. It's way better than somebody just squeezing the bag. And the other item that I was hoping to purchase, for those of you that have been around for a couple of years, you remember I asked about purchasing a snowmobile trailer. We ended up not doing it that year just because it didn't pan out, money-wise. But I would really like to replace that trailer. It's like a 2008 or 10 roughly. It's kind of the first version of those hybrids. So it's got like the screwed in stuff on the side, and it's not in very good shape. The roof kind of is caved in a little bit when it gets a lot of snow, enough that like when you open the door, actually the little door thing spins like a saw, kind of cut through. So we've done some patching to it. It has a couple of leaks. I mean, it's usable, but we try to keep stuff that you don't have to worry about. It would, depending on what model we went with, it would be somewhere between $6,000 and $7,000. So I would ask if you give me up to like $7,100 to purchase one. I don't think I'm gonna spend all of it. It just depending on which version of layout we go with. Those are the two big things. Yeah.
So, what do you anticipate the total that will be left in your budget? Did you say 40, something like that?
So, as of the last payroll, there was 114 left. That payroll was around $30,000, including taxes, retirement, things of that nature. So if you called it 110, we'd be at about 80. And then if you figure there's like 20 or 30 maybe things out there, I would say we're probably around 50 is what we'll have
So
left.
this will come under that.
So you have adequate funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice. It's been a couple of years where it's been like right on the money, real tight.
Yeah,
So
that's when it's scary.
this has kind of been like the old days where we have a few bucks to try to get stuff ahead of time and not get in next year's budget.
Yep, sounds good.
No,
Any
it's not like
questions,
those are
Bob?
two keys.
No.
So, do I have a motion to approve his request for the purchase of a new ventilator, intubator, and a new snowmobile trailer?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anything else?
I think I'm done talking about money for a while. Till, what, the 23rd or whatever?
Yeah, to the 23rd.
All right, yeah, and I'll probably hold off a week or two just to make sure everything's good, kinda like I did the last time, and then it was like, oh, that's not gonna pan out, but I'm pretty confident
Yeah,
that
but you're in a better position.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. So the next item on the agenda is the wage market analysis.
This is me. So, the importance of this wage market analysis is for retention of our employees. As you know, we are a small group employer, and I'm sure you've seen employees come and go over the years working here as they come here to get trained and they go off to get more money from the bigger cities or neighboring communities that will take the employees that been trained here. So, this study will see how our employees are compensated compared to other communities, to see that they're fairly compensated. Maybe they are, if they're not, it's something that we can start budgeting for, because, you have a great staff here, that are very dedicated to working for this community, and, we wanna make sure that they stay. And those are the results that we're hoping to get from this analysis. It's $6,500, and I thought I was taking from the contingency line, as there's still a little bit of funds in there before it laps in, 12/31. MRI would conduct the analysis. It would take probably about 2 months. If we're able to get it before the budget hearings, that'd be great. If not, we have something to prepare for next year.
Right. Do you have any questions? Carl? What?
No, I think it's something we've talked about, I think it's
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, you really wanna do one every couple of years to make sure,
So
I know a
easy to
few
slip
years,
behind.
yeah, I mean, three, when I first came on the board, we were really battling with that, and a lot of quarter chasing and things like that. So
Yeah.
we need to get on board with this, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the motion is to approve an agreement with Municipal Resources Inc. to conduct a salary market analysis with a cost to be $6,500 to be paid from the contingency line. Further authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement on behalf of the select board.
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
And then we have a meeting schedule for next year that Michelle prepared. So can we add to this, Michelle, when we set the budget hearing dates? You know, so we'll have it on our calendar when we know when that's gonna be. We haven't set that yet, but when we do, it's just very helpful for the board. Any other comments?
Are we gonna do the the summer, one meeting a
Oh,
month?
yeah, in summer, we're going to do one meeting a month.
Is that what we're
So, yeah, I didn't catch that. And I think we did it the middle.
It was the middle of the month last
Right, the
summer.
middle week,
Yeah.
the second meeting. So, like for June, it would be June 15th. For July, it would be July 20. In August, it would be August 17th. Good with that. We've gone home and thought.
Okay, that's the first thing I looked at.
I was gonna say.
Hope you didn't show up.
Is everyone okay with that? Okay, town meeting law. So, I did a little research today. So the town actually had voted in March of 1992. Well, no, let's see. The first time we had a separation of election day and deliberative session was in March 1992. At the March 1991 annual town meeting, under Article 43, which is other business, the town voted to split the annual town meetings going forward into 2 days. The elections on the second Tuesday of March, as required by law, followed by the deliberative session the following Tuesday, next one, I actually got that in the other, fourth thing, because that's what all the towns were doing. In the previous year, because we had, the regular deliberative session at the same time we had elections, we didn't get home until 1 o'clock in the morning, and when we got out, there was a foot of snow. Probably more than a foot of snow, and the plow trucks couldn't keep up with it, so it was a very challenging night to get home. And we had older folks, you know, a couple in their 80s driving and that stuff, so. So that was one of the reasons, we voted, because it's just a too long a day. And split it up, it's much easier, so it was a approved back then. So it's on the books through the town meeting, so next year, our election day would be Tuesday, March 10th, 2025, 8 to 7, here in the community room. And the deliberative session would be Wednesday, March 11th, beginning at 6:30 at Campton Elementary School. Okay. And you put on here town report dedication or memorials also. If anyone has any, suggestions, would you please pass them along to me or to, Charlie. I am going to contact, Jimmy Gill to get a picture of it, because he was our town moderator for many years, and at one point, when Anne Marie Foote was town administrator, he actually acted as the interim road agent and helped us out through a pinch, so, and he also, I believe, served on either planning board or zoning. So I'm gonna do some research, we'll do a write-up. I don't know if you wanna dedicate that to him, or do a memoriam like we did last year for folks. But we can see what everyone comes up with, and we can make that decision.
Do we want
He was
to,
also a fire commissioner for quite a long time.
Fire commissioner, yeah.
what's the
That's right.
deadline for that?
Get
Yeah.
that, cause he was really,
Yeah.
he was in his glory then.
Yes, he was.
Thank you.
When do we want to have that done by?
Well,
Michelle?
it's gotta give us time to write it up.
Right, yeah.
I would say, you know, get it to us end of the first week of January, your ideas, because it takes time to research
Sure,
this stuff.
yeah, okay.
Because I go through my collection of reports, and it takes time.
Sure, absolutely.
Is that all right? Anything else on that? Okay, reception improvement of RFP, general contract.
Received 3 bids, which Michelle is off and running. But in the meantime, I think if you want to jump to the next one, is the Thornton and Ellsworth joint meeting date. That's only on there to confirm, if that's a good date and time for the select board, as we were gonna meet this week, but we had to cancel because of the snow, and, we recommended. They usually meet on Wednesdays, but, because of the holiday, we're pushing it a day ahead on Tuesday.
That's right.
Thornton would meet once they meet a day ahead, because
Yeah,
Wednesdays.
so it's Tuesday, December 23rd at 5:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's.
Okay.
with that.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Okay, so. The first, bid is from Triple Construction. So there's three quotes that they give, okay? So the first is for construction of the reception improvement at $148,196. And alternate number one, bullet resistant glass in lieu of safety glass. That is $59,025. And alternate number two, provide Kevlar layer in wall framing. That would be another $15,950. And then from Cobb Hill Construction. Construction of the reception improvement area, $199,104. And alternate number one, $28,275. Alternate number 2, Kevlar layer and wall framing, $6,273. This is Cobalt, C-O-B-A-L-T, Construction Management. Better dig for this one. So the, construction of the reception area is $198,265.43. The bulletproof glass is $27,588.14. And the Kevlar, in the walls is $9,880.22. Any discussion? I would propose that we do not vote on this tonight. We need to really, think about this information. If you want copies of the proposal, I'm sure Michelle can. I'll give it to Michelle, okay, Michelle, make copies for everyone. And then we'll have a discussion at our next board meeting and see if we can avoid launching this project. Okay, John? Anyone else have? So we need time to digest and think about this. At this point, it's privilege of the floor, and as you know, the rule is to discuss any or make an opinion on any of the items that's on the agenda tonight.
Well, a question for Charlie.
Something on the
Yeah,
agenda.
the wage study, which I think it's a good idea. I mean, but when MRI does it, are they gonna give you a general idea of what towns they're gonna like compare us to? I mean, because if they went like around the Lakes region or south, we're into some big tax-rich towns, which we're not gonna be compatible to their wages. So I mean, I didn't know if they were gonna keep it in like say a 20-mile radius or how far they're expanding out.
They didn't say a complete radius, but I expect that they do. There should be numerous towns, but it's also who responds.
Yeah.
Because not every town will respond to them to fill out. It's really like they start their analysis is based off a questionnaire.
Yeah.
I've done one from other towns, and you fill out the salaries for each one of the positions, and then they sort of just list them.
So what position would that put us in? Say if some closer towns didn't respond, I don't think it'd be fair
Right.
to the taxpayers to go out and beyond.